over 148 hours and 1,600 deaths in total throughout the whole entire run. Cenat finally came up against Malenia and defeated her. That is right. This man was stuck on Malenia for over 24 hours. I think it was like coming up to 30 hours in total, and died over 400 times to the same boss. But after all that, the man finally fucking pulled through on this shit. And I'm just telling you that, like, when he beat her, that shit was hype as fuck.
Hit her one time!
So obviously I showed the clip there of Kai beating Malenia, but if you don't know what's been going on, Cenat set out to beat the whole entire Elden Ring, including some of the optional bosses, within one stream. That's right, this man is not ending stream until he beats the entirety of Elden Ring, including some of the optional bosses, because Malenia itself, if you don't know, if you've never actually played Elden Ring before, Malenia is actually an optional boss in the game, but she's known as the hardest boss out of any of the Souls games that are made from Software, and arguably, a lot of people would say that Malenia is actually one of, if not the hardest boss in any video game, at least in any modern day video game. And I've been like tuning in at times throughout this entire stream, throughout this entire endeavor, and I have to say that I've been enjoying the fucking hell out of it to see Cenat go through Elden Ring and beat each boss at a time. Me, myself, I've played through Elden Ring. Malenia is actually the only boss that I have not beaten. So the fact that I saw Kai do it, I'm just like, man, I got to give this guy props. Like, I've beaten the game. I've beaten like heaps of the optional bosses. Legit, the only one that I haven't like beaten yet, and I haven't even had like a good attempt at it. I've attempted it like twice, but only for like an hour each, and that's about it. But like besides that, I have gone through the game and I have loved it. I loved Elden Ring so fucking much. Like, it is such an amazing game. Like, I played it earlier in January this year for the first time as well, and like to see him go through the game and to see him like actually enjoying it, because even though, you know, you do get frustrated with the game, it is a fucking amazing game. Like, hands down, I would have to say Elden Ring is one of the greatest games to ever be made, and it's good to see that someone of like Cenat's status is like, you know, putting that game out there even more, because like when the game came out, it almost hit 1 million concurrent players on Steam, so it is massive. But like Cenat hits like a different type of audience, that like the audience that I would say that, like, you know, usually wouldn't really play Elden Ring all that much. But one thing that was great as well when he beat Malenia was the aftermath of it. Like, he's like he had a smoke machine in his fucking room that like smoked up his entire room. He was pretending to smoke a doobie, sitting on the throne that was behind him. All the boys, Your Rage, Agent, and I don't know who the other guy that was in the room as well, came in the room, was like celebrating with him, cheering him on. This shit was like hype as fuck. And then like one of the funniest things, and this is why I have to say that when it comes to a lot of streamers, when you see streamers like pull big numbers, a lot of people, like on the outside at least, go like, why the fuck does this guy get numbers? Like, all he does is sit in front of the computer, yell at his camera for a couple hours, just plays video games, or just sits there and watches clips, and, you know, or just sits there, just reacts to stuff and doesn't really give, you know, their genuine, you know, like reaction, and they don't really like put any kind of show on. But when it comes to Cenat, the amount of entertainment that this man puts in every single stream, every single thing that he does, if there comes to one streamer who deserves the views that they get, deserves the numbers that they get, it's 100% Cenat. This man puts on a fucking show. Like, every single time that this man goes live, you know that something hype is going to happen. And when he puts on a big event like this, like when he actually schedules something properly, like he's like, I'm putting on a show, or I'm doing a special stream or something like that. When he's announced that he was first doing this Elden Ring stream, you knew it was going to be hype. Like, from the start of the stream, it has been so good. And then like up until like this point with defeating Malenia, it was so much entertainment. And then right after, even like during the end, he was saying that he was talking to his assistant like through the stream, saying that, hey, you need to get me a masseuse down here for when I finally beat Malenia. And I have to say, I couldn't watch a lot of the masseuse like shit when that was going on stream, because some of the things that were like coming through the TTS were just like, they were too far. Like I have a feeling that those girls were like told like, hey, we're putting on like, it's Cenat, and like, we're going to put on things, and chat might say a couple things, just hopefully, we feel like you're comfortable with it. And I'm pretty sure Kai would like pay them handsomely. But some of the shit that was being said through the TTS was fucking wild. Like, they were just talking about the girls' asses and how they looked at all that shit. And the girls looked fine, but man, like, I found it awkward. I cringe really easily. That's just me personally. I cringe extremely fucking easily when it comes to shit like that. But it was still entertaining. Like, this man defeats Malenia and then pulls up with some masseuses, and he's just getting a massage right there on stream with your rage as well. It was fucking hilarious. Now, at this point in time, Kai has actually not beaten the entire game. Now, by the time that this video gets uploaded and you're viewing this, he might have, but by the time I'm recording this is like going out, I think about 4 hours, about 3.5 hours before like this video is gonna get uploaded. But at this point, he is sleeping. The man's just sleeping on stream. Like that's what he's been doing. I love his fucking absolute dedication, where he doesn't even end stream. He just legit, man, sleeping on stream, wakes up and plays Elden Ring. Like, this man is fucking dedicated to the craft, which is why I say that he is someone who deserves every single view that he gets, every single subscriber that man gets. He fucking deserves every single one. But yeah, at the moment he is sleeping on stream, but he has to beat Radagon, which I have beaten. Like, I've beaten the base game, and like I said, a few other optional bosses, and like, I've versed Radagon, and I've also like, I've attempted Malenia just a few times, not as many times. I haven't sat down to like properly give it a really good go. And he can get through Radagon in a shorter time than he can Malenia. Like, Radagon is extremely difficult, especially because of the build that he's going for, where he's going for a bleed. He's doing like a bleed build, and when it comes to Radagon, he actually doesn't bleed, so he's resistance. He has a resistance to bleed builds, so that's gonna like, not be in Kai's favor as much. But he did get up to the second stage when it comes to Radagon, and me personally, when I played through it, like, I struggled so much on like the first phase of Radagon, and then when it comes to the Elden Beast, I didn't find that too difficult. Like, once you die to him a couple times, you kind of like, I feel like his moves are extremely like a lot more predictable than, and a lot more easier to dodge than Radagon is. So I feel like he's definitely gonna beat that like within the day. Like, there's no way that he goes through another day of streaming and not beat Radagon. I see him taking a lot less. Like, yeah, it's going to take him a few hours. I still see it. I'm not saying that like give it like an hour in, he's going to defeat him. I mean, he's the last boss in the Elden Ring story, so of course it's going to be difficult for him, but I 100% see him beating it. It's going to take maybe half the time of what Malenia took. I'd be very, very surprised if it takes him like another day to beat Radagon. But I want to hear what you guys think about this down below. If you've been watching the stream, tuning into it, what do you think of it so far, man? I just wanted to make a view about this because, man, I have found this stream fucking entertaining, especially, like I say, I was relatively new to Elden Ring this year. Like, I bought it when it first came out, but I didn't really get into it. Replayed it and fucking absolutely loved it. So I'm glad to see that, Kai's been doing it, and he's been making it hella fucking entertaining to be streaming for at least a moment of me recording this of 160, almost 160 hours, which is in fucking insane. But that's it from me, guys. Peace out.